Just listen to that sentence. It really says it all, doesn't it? The cars are rented, the watches are fake, and the money piles are props. Okay, we have to dive into this because what we're about to unpack is one of the biggest, most elaborate social media cons of the last few years.
So, today we're talking about the rise and incredible fall of Kenya's so-called forex kings. These were young, super charismatic influencers who promised everyone a golden ticket to insane wealth through currency trading. But as you're going to see, the dream they were selling, well, for a lot of people, it turned into a total nightmare.
To really get how this all worked, you first got to meet the main players. We're talking about 4 key personalities who built these massive online empires, all based on the seductive promise of getting rich and getting rich fast.
First up, we've got Samuel Malayaka, who went by Sammy Boy. And man, his origin story was the stuff of legend. He was supposedly just a regular university student who took his tuition money, threw it all into the forex market, and basically hit the jackpot. He became the ultimate poster child for risking it all and winning big.
And here's the thing. It looked like he had the credentials to back it up. In 2022, he even got this big award in Kigali, naming him one of Africa's top 100 traders. For his thousands of followers, this was it. This was the proof. This guy was the real deal.
All right, next up is Raymond Omosa, better known as the Kenyan Prince. Now, if Sammy Boy was the pioneer, this guy was the P.T. Barnum of the whole operation. He basically turned flaunting cash into a form of performance art, even calling himself Kenya's youngest sponsor.
His biggest claim to fame was this viral video where he's just casually spreading 6 million Kenyan shillings across a table. Now that's over 45,000 US dollars. He's treating it like pocket change. The sheer audacity of it was breathtaking. And you know what? It worked. It got everybody talking.
Then we have Onyango Job, or Onyango Ted, as he called himself. This guy's story? He gets suspended from his university for making fun of his professor's humble little car. So what does he do? He leans into it, hard. He builds this whole rebel persona. His message was brutally simple. Forget school. Forget the system. Forex is the only real path to freedom.
And finally, rounding out the crew is Robert Njuguna, known as the Pluto. Now, he played the game a little differently. Instead of just focusing on flashy cars and cash, he built what he called a multi-million Forex hub. We're talking a physical office, employees, big trading screens. He was all about projecting this image of a serious, stable, legitimate business.
But you know how these things go. This entire carefully constructed world of wealth and success, it was about to come crashing down. Let's walk through exactly how the facade started to crack.
And man, when it started to unravel, it was like watching dominoes fall one by one. It kicked off when a YouTuber exposed that one of the fancy mansions was just a rental. Then came public call-outs, a nasty car crash that sparked a feud between the kings. And then, get this, another influencer's owned mansion pops up on a rental website. The final nail in the coffin? One of them just straight up admits on the radio that it was all staged.
And really, this quote from the Kenyan prince himself says everything you need to know. You have to sometimes play with people's mind a bit so you trend. It was never about trading, it was about manipulation to get famous online. So that leads to the really crucial question, if the lifestyle was a complete lie, how were they actually making all that money?
This brings us to the absolute core of it all. We're about to pull back the curtain and look at the real engine room. The actual business model that was powering this entire illusion.
I mean, it's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Literally. If these enormous profits weren't coming from brilliant currency trades day in and day out, what was the real source of the income that was funding all the Lamborghinis and the mansions? Where did the money come from?
Well, the answer is right here. It's a 5-part revenue model. They were selling access to so-called signal groups, they were selling mentorships and courses, they were getting huge kickbacks from brokers, and they were pushing super risky products like prop trading schemes and automated bots. Notice what's missing from that list. Yeah, actual profits from their own trading.
Let's just break one of these down because the signal groups are kind of genius in a really diabolical way. Here's how it works. You pay them a monthly fee to copy their trades. Then they blast social media with screenshots of all their winning trades. But what about the losing ones? Poof, they're just quietly ignored, buried, or explained away. The influencer gets paid their monthly fee no matter if you win or, more likely, lose. But this right here is probably the darkest part of the whole model.
Influencers partner up with these online brokers to get a commission. And in the absolute worst, most predatory version of these deals, they earn money when their followers lose money. Just let that sink in for a second. The system is set up where they profit directly from your failure. So you can see, this wasn't some victimless game of internet fame. No. The fantasy that these influencers were selling had devastating, real-world consequences for the people who put their trust and their money in them.
Take a look at this number, $7,500. For one TikToker named Gloria Taza, that number represents everything. Her entire life savings, plus money she had to borrow. All of it, gone. Lost to a scammer she truly believed was a mentor.
And her own words make the distinction crystal clear. She said, they're not traders, they're online scammers. And that's such a key point. These guys weren't traders who failed at their job. They were scammers who succeeded at their real job.
And Glorian's story, as heartbreaking as it is just one of thousands. The damage goes way beyond just bank accounts. We are talking about people buried in massive debt, families being torn apart, marriages collapsing, and for so many, just a completely shattered sense of trust and hope for the future.
Okay, so after hearing all that, how do you protect yourself? This last part here is all about arming you with the knowledge you need to separate the dangerous fiction from the very difficult reality of what actual trading is.
And when you put the two side by side, the difference is, well, it's night and day. On one side, you've got the influencer promise, guaranteed returns, secret strategies, a flashy lifestyle, easy money. And on the other side, you've got the truth about real trading. It's all about risk management, years of practice, realistic expectations, and incredible discipline and skill. They are two completely different universes.
And if you take only one thing away from this whole explainer, please let it be this. The real money was never in trading currencies. It was in selling the dream of trading currencies. The product wasn't the trade signals. The product was the dream itself. That's what people were really buying.
Which leaves us all with a final thought to chew on. You know, this story is about forex, but you can see this pattern everywhere online. In a world full of digital illusions, figuring out how to tell the real teachers from the people who are just getting rich selling shovels in a gold rush, well, that might be the most valuable skill any of us can learn.